I've got to pay the 20th. So there you go, another job for today. Welcome along. Hope your Friday is going well. All good here. I've decided to give you bed here and regrowth today because today was the day I was supposed to get dipped in the fountain of youth, and it didn't happen. In fact, exactly the same thing happened last time in lockdown in level 4. So I'm beginning to think that this is a conspiracy, but that's all right. I thought I'd give you no makeup except lips and regrowth in full hair, but that's okay because I've gone and got someone to come and join me today who actually looks utterly fabulous. I did ask her about an hour ago and she was still in her pajamas, but she has managed to glam herself up and look $1,000,000, and that's Vanessa from Hanging Rock Roost. How are you, Vanessa?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's it's all good, and it's been quite good because Vanessa, I was just saying to her before we got started, I wanted to get you on because I just know that you guys at the moment, it is actually SSDD, which is actually a really comforting thing right now. So for those that don't know you, Vanessa, tell everybody who you are, where you are, and what do you usually do?
Well, so I have Hanging Rock Roost, which is my little business where I keep getting told not to say little. It's not a little business, it's a business. I write knitting patterns, and I dye a bit of yarn, and yeah, so that's me. I live in South Canterbury, just out of Geraldine. We moved here about 10 years ago from Auckland, and that was kind of a lifestyle. We did it on purpose to chill out and for exactly this kind of reason. To be fair, this is why we moved down here, so that life kind of carries on as normal when the world around us is falling apart.
And I mean that's a beautiful thing because you are on a you said is it at the center of a farm? You've got how many acres of gloriousness around you?
Well, I'm actually not sure how big the farm is, but we're rural, whereas we can't get much more rural than this. We've only got 2 acres ourselves, so we've got one paddock that's split into little bits for the goats. But the farm around us is
a big working farm.
Yeah, and they're full on calving at the moment. So there's tractors driving past all the time with full of trailers full of calves, and it's quite fun.
Yeah, and it's so nice to actually see that life, particularly in rural New Zealand. And I think last time, I mean, I know I talked about this at the last lockdown. I think if you're in the cities, you forget that actually life in rural New Zealand actually just carries on. I mean, it's animals still need to be attended to. These are, I think, in a way, rural New Zealand has been the forgotten essential workers of these pandemics, and it is really good to sort of I think sometimes take stock of what goes on outside the city limits from time to time. You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the last lockdown, it felt like nothing at all changed except for the fact, well, same again, the kids are home from school. That's under our feet, asking for lunch.
How's the vibe in the South Island? Because I kind of feel sorry for the South Island. I mean, you haven't had any cases down there. I mean, and the same happened sort of last time that there was sort of lockdowns. I mean, is it just sort of a case of, right, we're just going to knuckle down and get on with it because that's what we do. We're pragmatic and we just make it happen, or what's the vibe?
Pretty much. I mean, I think South Islanders tend to be a bit like that. They're sort of, this is what we've got to do, and that's that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of locking down, we're all in it together. We've got to, support each other. And like they're saying, we don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
So let's just all shut down for a bit and see. I mean, who knows what we're going to say this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. All will be revealed at 3:00. Rachel's just asking, do your goats escape to the neighbours? She's always having to retrieve hers.
Yes, all the time. They're little goats, but they don't jump over the fences. They go under the fences.
Oh, that's so cute.
all the time.
And you have been, I mean, what do you call them when goats, when they give birth? It's not
A
calving.
kid.
No, but is it calving? Or
Yep.
when they actually give, yeah. So you've just had babies.
We've got two little twins at the moment. Who are what,
Exciting.
4 days old now? They're super cute.
Oh,
Super cute.
goats are really cute. Because I grew up on a farm, so we always had, yeah. I mean, we had goats, and we had a goat. Well, we had goats until the goats got into my father's veggie patch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That seems to be sort of as long as people can deal with goats.
yeah,
From what I see, it's like,
yeah.
okay, enough now. You know, you've got into too many naughty things. Time to go.
Well, we sort of had, he then kind of did move them across, because we had the property that we lived on. My dad managed a farm, and so it's a really old sheep and cattle station that is still in operation today. So like the homestead we lived in was built in the late 1800s, and it was one of those sort of old sort of places. So it had an orchard, all those old places, all planted orchards,
Yeah.
because there's no going to the shops, you see, so you had to
No.
be self-sufficient. So
Yeah.
so the goats often would live in the orchard, because they were there to kind of clean up all the stuff underneath the trees and keep it all. They were, the organic lawnmowers, essentially. That's what they were there for.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the orchard shared a fence with my dad's veggie patch next door. And yeah, it's surprising how nimble they can be when they're hungry.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And strong too, trying to hold them back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, I remember that. Yeah. And of course, we had the whole traditional Billy and a nanny goat, and they were called Billy and Nanny, really
As
original,
you do.
really original. But it was, no, I remember. But they're fun. And they've got real personalities too,
Oh yes.
and they're much brighter than sheep. I mean,
Yes.
much smarter than sheep, because if you've ever been on a farm and had lambs or had sheep, I mean, sheep are lovely, but they're thick. They're very dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas goats are not.
No, we've had lambs and goats at the same time a few times, and I'm not even going to bother doing sheep anymore, because a couple of times the sheep have followed the goats out, and they're not clever enough to follow the goats back in. So they get out, and then they sit and bar at us to come and pick them up, because they can't find their way back. It's like, seriously, you got there.
Yeah. I know. Oh, crazy. So that design, let's talk design. I mean, I featured some of your designs before, but you've been doing some really glorious designs. I know the Barn Hill tea I talked about not so long ago, I think, on the Diaries and stuff. But what are you wearing? I'm liking what you've got on. That's nice. What's it?
This is even for my mum knitted, and if you follow me, I've been sending patterns and yarn up to mum in Auckland to knit my designs in my own yarn, because of course the yarn's a sort of a new thing for me. So I've just been chucking stuff at her, and she's been beavering away and knitting all these beautiful things. So this is one of the ones that she's knitted. So this is even for about I don't know. It was actually one of my early patterns, actually.
Yeah.
One of my first garment patterns.
Yeah. I love that little. I love the little feature there. That's
it's
so
just a little.
sweet.
So this was a happy accident, this bit, because I thought that I calculated right, and I knitted and got down to below my sleeves, and tried it on, and it fell off my shoulders. I'm like, now what do I do? So I thought, well, stuff it. I'm not going to reknit this. I'm going to just have a go and turn it into a pleat. So it's a little box pleat. You see that?
Great. So it's almost like an afterthought. It's afterthought decreasing, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's got it at the back as well.
Oh, yeehaw.
So yeah, so it's just a cute. So this is a contiguous sleeve style.
Yeah.
Of this one. And this is actually possibly a smidge too big for me, but that's the beauty with knitting, is that it can theoretically be too big for you, but it's stretchy and it does its thing, so it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, right. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. So what was it called again? Even four.
Even four.
Even four. Right. Let's. Ah, there we go. There it is. Look at that.
Is it A-line? No, it's just straight. Hang on. It's just straight. It hasn't got any shape.
Lovely.
It's just perfectly straight.
But the good thing about it being perfectly straight though is that if you wanted to put an A-line in there, you could, which is something.
Or add your own.
Yeah,
waste wrapping, whatever.
yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I know that I've done many times. I'm the queen of sticking A-line stuff, and just because there we go. So, I even beat you to it today, Kathy. Look at that. It's just the simplest thing to do. And if you've never done an A-line, the easiest way to do it is just to identify your center stitch, your center points underneath your arms. I generally work 2 stitches either side, and then you just need to decide how acute or soft you want that angle, and then you just need to do a double decrease. Yeah. I generally work on around about if I'm working in the round every sort of every 8th round, 6th to 8th round, I'll just do a double decrease and then just keep, and that I find that just gives me a nice little gentle A-line to be, to cover all those extra sort of little wibbly bits that some of us have, and which is nice. It's nice and easy. I know, I love that. And well, what's on the dummy? You actually, I'm going to get rid of me so we can see the dummy. There we go.
This is actually a new pattern that seriously, I've got so many patterns that I've started knitting, and to be fair, COVID's messed me up.
Yeah.
And I think I've only released 2 patterns since COVID started. It's just messed up with my head. I've got plenty of them knitted. I can knit them. Just writing them is the anyway. So this is one of them. This is I think this one's going to be called Scylla. And there is a jersey version of this too, which I'm currently knitting. Where is it? Here. And I showed, if you follow me on Facebook, I showed you a little bit of it yesterday. The jersey version, which is just a drop shoulder, and I've just started getting into the pattern at the bottom now. So
that's sweet. And is that and that cardigan's a drop shoulder as well too.
It is, yeah.
But
it's got a little panel through the. I don't even bother putting buttons on it.
Yeah,
it's got a little panel on the button band.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's very nice. Very nice.
So yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I think this is the next one off the ranks. This one, I think I need to actually get something out.
Oh, I know. Look, I'm notorious for it. I'm forever knitting things and just not writing them up. Like I've got a million squillion things, and I drive Claire, who was on yesterday. I drive Claire insane because I will knit something and then I'll wear it, or I'll feature it, or I'll show people on social media that I'm knitting it. And then it'll be, oh, Maree, where's the pattern for this?
Well, to be fair, that jersey that I'm currently knitting now, I was wearing, stupid idea, wearing a pattern that you hadn't written at Fibertron, not the last one, the previous one.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
And somebody said, oh, what's that pattern? What's the pattern? I said, oh, it's coming. It's, I'll get it. It's still not here.
Ethan keeps giving me, he keeps saying, Maree, just flick, and I'll have a look at it and check your editing, and I don't know what I think it's because I've got doing 1,000,001 different things, and it's just getting stuff out from my head. And see, I have a philosophy too that I don't charge for any of my designs, only because I do little things. They're not things that are difficult. They don't require a lot of scaling. And for me, it's about a sort of paying it forward thing. So that's why there isn't a lot there. That's how I roll. And a lot of it's for stuff for the shop as well. But it's just finding, well, it's not really finding the time. I can find the time. I just prefer to spend the time doing other things.
But it's also finding the headspace for me. It takes it. I mean, I've got to make sure that there's a quiet house and nobody's around, and my husband works from home as well, so he's always around. So it's a matter of finding the quiet space. Maths is not my friend. I'm not a maths person whatsoever, says she, designing knitting patterns, which is all about maths.
Maths, yeah.
So to find that space to actually spend time and get my head around what needs to be done, it's not an easy thing. And then when you've got other things in your head, COVID stuff, and you know, worrying about this and worrying about that, and
And you're like me, you've got boys too, and I mean they're always busy and loud. And I think when I was on yesterday, I've actually managed to get him to show. The oldest one was playing video games yesterday when we were diarying, and I don't know how much people heard, because there was yelling and hooing and harring, and there was a bit of bad language that was rolling around. I'm thinking,
that sounds just like my house.
And
we've also got a bunch of these that end up all over the place as well.
I have conveniently gone and tubbed up the Nerf bullets, because I got to the point where I was like, if I have to fish one more foam fucking dart out from Lord knows where, well,
sure, I'm in the lounge, but this is my work desk, and they're on my desk. So
and Nerf war can break out at any time, and everything is fair game. I'm actually terrified now that we're back in. The last lockdown happened during last Nerf war happened during lockdown. I'm terrified that's going to happen again.
It will. It's guaranteed. Now that you've talked about it, it's definitely going to happen.
I know. Oh, I know, it's crazy, but there you go. So anyway, yarn. Talk about the yarn, because I know this is a new thing for you. So how's that going? Are you enjoying it?
This is a new. I love it. I really enjoy dyeing yarn. I mean, I'm a graphic designer by trade. Colour has always been something that work. I mean, I wear colour. I'm not afraid of wearing colour. Putting colours together has always been something that I can. It's just second nature. But yeah, I've been dyeing all sorts. My mum that I mentioned before said to me a little while back, I need a pink, not a really bright pink, and she had all these parameters that she wanted for this pink. So I didn't have the yarn that she wanted it on at the time. I didn't have any of the base available. So I dyed it on my Cass, which is my 2-ply. So I got 6 skeins, which is pretty much what normal batches are like. And I dyed up, it's hard to see the differences.
Oh, yeah, definitely. 3 different.
So I dyed up 2 of each colour. And sent them up to her, and she chose one. This one here she chose was her favourite of that lot. So that one is going on the market shortly, and it's called Maree Roost, because that's what I've been calling my mum when she knits me my patterns.
Oh, gorgeous.
And of course, because I was dyeing for Can, I've got a whole lot of stock available. So that one will go
Kathy, which is our mutual digital assistant, has just gone and popped your shop link up in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
And in fact, I might copy that over so it goes. I'm going to copy that over, Kathy. Thank you for that. Because I'll do it over here, because it will then go into the Brain Engage Maree YouTube one.
So yeah, so there's a here, and I'll bring this out. I just put a bunch of colours together in the. So this is Gladys, which you saw that I was knitting before with the jersey version of the cardigan. Gladys there.
What a great name.
I called it Gladys because it's pretty much exactly the same colour as one of the gladioli flowers in my garden. So Gladys, such a good name. Pavlova, which is my natural colour. Maree Roost, Frigate.
Oh, nice.
So it's real sort of cool grey, and Snifter.
Mm.
Oh, and there's a bottom of the canyon there as well.
Mm.
That
Those
name came about because it was we did a trip to America a few years ago. Now that when we could back in the day, and I was looking through the photos, and all of the foliage at the bottom of the Salt River Canyon, I think it was called, was sort of this beautiful sort of muted green color. So that's what helps.
And see, I love that whole color palette. I just love, because to me that's very Art Deco, very tropical, very sort of, you know, if you've ever been to places like Miami or anything like that, it's those sort of happy colors. They're very happy colors. Yeah.
And they all tend to go pretty well together as well. They make a really cool feral something.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's I find those colors really soothing. Really soothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very soothing.
But then I've got I've got a really bright yellow that people tend to like.
Yeah.
This one's
Well, you did a design in that, didn't you? Didn't you have a design in one of those yellows?
No.
I think you had a design in yellow. I don't know why.
No, I had it. The Bar Hill was a sort of a dirty yellow.
That's what it was. That's right. A lovely gold.
But this is a super bright one. That you either love it or you hate it. It's yellow.
Well, I have a philosophy with yellow. So I have you heard about the sacrificial yellow philosophy?
No.
Right. Okay. So this is actually not my philosophy personally. This is actually from the Peter Chatterton School of Colour Management. So when I was learning to pull ranges together for skeins, here we go. See, this is what happens in my house. I have live broadcasts and you get bombed by teenagers. So that's Vanessa. This is good. You go, hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
And hi, everybody.
Hello. It's called, when people are in chat, they call them chat.
I know. They're called chat, dear. All right.
So, Miss, you say hi, chat.
Yeah.
All right, and you say, and if you're talking about somebody, don't say their name. Say that they're a viewer.
Right. Very good. Thank you, darling. You go and get you some breakfast, please.
I'm like 30 minutes between Zoom calls.
Oh, okay. You're in between Zoom calls. Excellent. Well done. See?
I love it.
I know. Well, you'll see this one. You won't see the other one for love nor money.
No, that's very familiar.
Anywho, back to the sacrificial yellow. Deb says hi, Hugo. Hey, so anyway, we were putting ranges together, and it was a concept that I wasn't aware of. So Peter was showing me about, sort of the process, and you can imagine the when you're pulling ranges together, that often, like, a lot of people will pull ranges together around a theme. Other people will pull ranges together around sort of where things sit on the color wheel, or there's a load of different ways that you can get inspiration around pulling a range. But often when we're doing it, if a range is quite small, because it would be a perfect world that you could do a range of like 36 colors, and then you can cover all the different spectrums, you can have all the different tones, you can have light, you can have dark, you can have contrast, you can have complementary, in a perfect world. But when you're actually coming from a manufacturing point of view, 36 colors is, and to be fair, we do that in Perrindale. We've got 36 colours in Perrindale, but it's taken us years to sort of get to that level. Whereas often when we're doing a new range, we're constrained by the size of the batch and how big a die batch that we've got. So often magical numbers, and you guys may notice this, a lot of our range sizes are often quite tight, and they will be generally around either 8 or 12. Is often magical numbers that we have, and that's because of how things fit with die vats and what have you. So when you're actually pulling together those tighter ranges, which often is a dye that you do, you've got to get the colors completely right so they know that they're going to work together. And then you'll get an idea in your head, and you'll pull all those colors out there, and you'll look at them, and you think to yourself that those look good, but they just look a bit, something's missing. He's like, and I could never figure it out, because Peter would set me these color exercises and I would do them, and I think, but I know in my head that seems so much better. And then this is when he would bring out a yellow or a gold or a very yellow based green, and you would sit
Mhm.
that colour in the range, and then all of a sudden the entire range, or bright orange will work too, will just go pew and wake up.
And it
And
all comes together.
it all comes together, and often
Brings the
what the
water.
yellow will do is it will make everything else around it look really good.
Mhm.
And we would, and see at the moment, yellow, I mean, for the last number of years, yellows have been really, really popular. But when I sort of started 15 years ago, yellow was not everyone's friend.
Yeah.
And that's why we used to call it the sacrificial yellow. Yellow was the color that you would add to the range, you would dye in the small sample vat, and the
Yeah.
only reason the yellow was there was to make all its other mates look good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same in nature, though. You look at
Yeah.
flowers; they've
Mm.
all got pretty much all got a yellow in the middle.
Yeah.
It's it's what. Yeah, you're right. It brings it all together.
It just brings it all together. So that's the sort of sacrificiality. Now, Mary is asking the name of my scarf. So I'm going to hold this up. Let me make sure I get show you the right side. That is the right side. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is it here. So this is some homespun that I spun years ago, like years and years ago. And the name of the scarf is called Brickless by Martina Bean. And I'm a huge Martina fan, and I have knitted. So this is the lady who did Hitchhiker. A lot of people know Hitchhiker. They don't necessarily, but so Brickless is one of her lesser known patterns, but I quite like it. It's essentially, it's like a similar concept to Hitchhiker, but all it is just a breakdown. So you've got three different lots of, you've got a 1x1 rib, you've got a yarn over lace, and then you've got a garter block, and it's just a series of bricks that you build up. So that's what that is. That's what I'm wearing there. There you go. And so what is it? So you've got the Gladys on your needles at the moment.
Yes.
With your new design. What else have you? Don't tell me you're a single project wonder, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Go on. What else have you got?
Oh,
on the
actually,
needle?
I'm not even anymore. As of a couple of days ago, not even only a knitter, because
Ooh.
I've been making little pansies.
Those
It's so
are
cute.
That's so cute.
But to answer your question, this is
That's
seriously. You know how I said I've got like 8 different designs. Here's another one that's.
Love that with the color work at the bottom. Oh, hold on.
So it hasn't got a name yet. But this is a bit of stranded color work, which is not really something that I'm that au fait with. And it's my tension's probably a little bit tight through here, but hopefully it'll block out okay. Famous last words, eh? It'll block out, no trouble.
Here we go. Postscript. That's a good name for that.
Postscript.
Yeah.
Nice.
It kind of looks scriptive or cursive. Cursive. Yeah, there you go. Anyway. I love it.
So that's a this is in my Nevis yarn, which is a DK Corridor. And it's got a little bit of color work around the
pretty
sleeve as well, which ties in with the hem. So these colors are called the brown is called Mixed Spice, and the orange, its name has escaped me. Can't remember. I'll find it. But yeah, so that's one thing I'm working on. Just needs some bands now, I think. What else have I got?
Did you enjoy doing the color work?
I did actually. I've only got one other color work pattern, and that's Clara Jane, and that's in mosaic one.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm lying. I've got socks as well. I've got my Danzy's Pass socks that have got a bit of Fair Isle color work in them as well. And actually, speaking of Fair Isle color work, who is it here? Oh, it's right here. I got adventurous a little while ago, and I thought, let's show off how well my colors go together.
Oh, is that a Birkin? Is that Birkin? No, what's that?
It's a pattern.
Just a pattern for you, yeah. That's fabulous. I love this.
So we've got Frigate as the base, the grey. The red is called Vesper. That blue is Pukaki. I've got quite a few different blues, but I've mostly been dyeing ebb tide lately. The yellow, I think, is Beetlejuice, and the green is Brougham.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love that.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. But I kind of got to a point, it's got a little bit of texture in it as well. Can you see that?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I kind of got to a point to figure out to grade across the sizes. So I put it down and just haven't picked it up again.
Yeah.
Really need to get on with it. But it's kind of cute though, eh?
It's really cute. And I mean, the thing is that's a beautiful thing by using that beautiful frigate, that soft grey as your base, is it just allows all the other colours to sing. And yeah, it's glorious. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's super cute.
Another one that I need to carry on and finish writing.
No, well, I know that Libby has this thing. I mean, when she came back from the UK, she had a million squillion things like that. And sort of, how she went through that phase and a few years ago, when there was lots of stuff coming out. As she said, it was all designed and knitted years previously. It's just that, getting the space, and same with you, kids, she's got 4 kids and getting them all sorted and it's
do you want to see another one?
Yeah, yes. Oh gosh, show and tell. This is fabulous. I'm loving this. Now this looks like a DK. Is this a DK?
It is actually double DK. Just to be really
even better.
Back in January, I don't know if you remember, but we had a hailstorm here.
So talk us through that, because you guys were, I mean, you were on the proper TV.
We were on the news.
On the news.
No, it was pretty scary actually. It came when we knew that there were thunderstorms happening that day. My husband Roger is a very
meteorologically interested. He's a storm chaser, isn't he?
Very much. Yes. So we knew that there were thunderstorms happening, but suddenly it sort of, I can't remember what time it was, 6 o'clock or something at night, it just suddenly went dark and close, and we heard the hail coming. It sounded like a truck coming for, I don't know, quite a while. We'd got a message, actually that was the other thing, we got a message from a friend in Geraldine, they're probably 10 k's from here, who said, hail, we've just had hail here, it's coming your way. So we're like, okay, we'll shut down everything. And of course we have cars here. My husband's business is he's a car dealer. So we have our paddock, which is half full of cars. So we must have had 20 or 30 cars in stock at the time. And so we're like, well, there's nothing we can do. We can't do anything about the cars. We've just got to hunker down. So we covered as many cars as we could around the property, and then just went inside and watched it. And it came with a thump. It was huge. It was scary. The wind whipped up at one point, and we honestly thought that it was turning into a tornado and we're going to lose the whole house. It was horrible. It was so scary. But of course, we went out to check it. I mean, we went out to check it afterwards, and there was hail like this, all around the steps and the around the edges of the cars, and oh gosh, it was scary. There was so much hail, and it was really localized. Like a couple of the farms around, like it was obviously a panel, a river of hail that came through, which I think is how weather works. And yeah, and then we went out and checked the cars. Every single car in the paddock was damaged, every single one. Wow. So the insurance was, I mean, they came to the party and it was sorted, and it was sorted relatively quickly. But man, this is our business. This is our livelihood. Yeah, we're like, how on earth, he had deals that were sort of partway through, and stuff that was going on. Gosh, it was scary. So after that, I dyed a colorway. Yeah. Oh, because the other thing too is Helene from Happy Go Nitty got online and said, "Hey guys, this is what's happened." Actually, lots of people shared the news article, and everybody came to the party, and they were so lovely and bought patterns, heaps of patterns from me. and yarn and all sorts of things. And we were so grateful to everybody rallying around. It was so lovely. So I dyed up a colourway. This one's called Thor. Thor as in ice Thor, not as in
THAW as in THOR.
Yeah. And then I thought I need a pattern as well. So I don't know if you can tell. I'll bring it a bit closer. I'll just move my breakfast away that I hadn't eaten. There's little bubbles. So those are my little hailstones. Oh, that was the other thing. The hailstones. They were like golf ball size. They were scary huge. They were like lots and lots of little hailstones all
mashed in together.
Oh, it was awful. But yeah, so cute little cardigan with slightly balloony sleeves.
That would be such a satisfying quick knit.
Yeah, it is.
What size needle did you do? Are you doing that on? You're doing that on at 6, 8?
6, I think.
6, yeah.
I can't remember. I'd have to look it up.
I love it. I love it.
And it's, again, it's cropped.
Oh, it's fabulous.
And it's 3/4 sleeves,
yep,
which may not necessarily be suitable for such a heavy yarn, but the beauty of a top down, you start knitting your sleeves.
Yep.
And if you want it a bit longer, these are perfectly straight sleeves. If you want it a bit longer, just keep on knitting.
Yeah. And you could actually do it a bit longer and actually do quite a long decreased cuff if you wanted as well, which will give you a really nice balloon. But see, even though that's a bit heavier like that, a design like that is so good for the beginnings and the end of the day, but also too, like, you know, and I know where you are and down south, it's very much like us here. Like, we get to this time of year, like I mean, even though it's still technically winter, spring is making itself known, but we get to about 5 o'clock, and if we're out, it will go from lovely, pleasant one layer of clothing to, oh shit, it's getting a bit chilly, you know, just like that. And being something like that just to chuck over when you're walking the dog or going out to get wood for the fire or whatever is perfect.
I was out yesterday with the goats. We sorted out a new shelter for them. We were out there in our t-shirts during the day, and then by 5 p.m. we're like, okay, all right, time to light the fire. And we got the fire going, and it was all cozy inside for the rest of the evening. But yeah, it's that's what I love about this time of the year. We've got a proper contrast.
Yeah. Love it. Hey, look, the consensus from everybody in chat is they like the colour work one and that one. So those are for your priorities, darling. Those are the next two you need to get on, just so you know. All right.
I must have to read through all of that too.
Yes, that's what everybody in here is telling me. So this is good. I love Thor. I adore Thor. Thor is. And also those thicker knits, because I love double stranding because you can play with texture. See, immediately I'm looking at that Thor, knowing what we've got in terms of our double knit mohair as well as our single stranded, and that's the first thing I saw with that. It's like, because I'm looking for patterns that we can play around with texture, and because that lace and those bobbles are so big and pronounced, so when you get that done, you send that to me and I'll get it sample knit up with the double strand, and we'll see what it looks like. Awesome. I reckon it'll look shit hot.
Cool.
Oh, and now ideas, light bulbs. Boop, boop. See,
this is why we need to talk to each other all the time.
I know.
This is how things happen. Light bulbs happen.
The light bulb that's just happened for me is that both those mohairs I just put up a naked literally the day before we went into lockdown. I know. So you can actually dye up with your
do you know, I was just looking for a naked mohair just the other day, like yesterday. I was looking.
There you go. It's up. It should be. Hold on, I better check. Well, she says that. I'm almost certain I did it. It was just such a crazy old day. I know I did it because we loaded it up for the sale. So don't buy it until next Wednesday because it's on sale.
Oh yes, the can sale.
Don't buy it until next Wednesday. Oh yeah, next Wednesday. All right, hold on. I'm just
going to have a read through these little things because there's lots of people that have been talking to us and I haven't really.
Oh, blah, blah, I'll take whatever. Hands, pole width, I'll twist. Did it? Oh, hold on. Maybe it's. Yes, it is. Yep, it's there. They're on there. Right, good. Okay,
I'm going to have a look.
I'm not crazy. That's good.
Not completely, just a little bit.
Not completely. And you know, it's really beautiful. We've got a whole huge number in here, and we've got everyone in the house. I know we've got Australia, we've got Melbourne, we've got New South Wales, we've got the USA, we've got all over New Zealand. We've got everyone here today, which is fantastic. I love seeing everyone from all over, which is just great. So you've been loaded. Have you got your stuff loaded up on your website yet for sale? You've got your can stock. I know I'm trying to. I know. Still
there's
not.
a lot there. Not everything though. This color is not up there yet. But a lot of it's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will. There's a couple of colors that need photographing, so they haven't gone up. But
so the grand plan for me, I've been filling everyone in the last couple of days, is because with the can postponement, the grand plan is once we find out what's going on with online businesses. So definitely level 3, we're up and running, so that's good. But what we're hoping to do is once everyone from Can gets all their stuff up and loaded, I'm looking at doing like a can mail out for everybody with and sort of tying it all in with the skein sale, so people then know that you know we're doing our stuff, but these are other things all happening at the same time. So you know, at least if we can't have it in person, we can have it online. So that's that is the plan, Stan. So
perfect. All right. Well, I'll get some photos taken and get it all listed online.
Yeah, and then it'll just it's just, I guess everything will be revealed from, well, hopefully everything will be revealed from about 3 o'clock this afternoon, so we'll have a clearer idea.
I just saw somebody had written in the things that there's a couple of confirmed cases in Wellington.
Oh, really?
See, or maybe that's rumor. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I have to. I don't know about you, but I do get to the point where I just, particularly when I just have to switch off. Like I get to, like Vanessa and I were just saying before. Vanessa goes, "Please don't take this the wrong way, Maree," but I just, you know, I never watch the Diaries. It's like, Vanessa, I don't. I wouldn't watch the Diaries if I were me. I was just saying it because Deb's in chat at the moment. I'll dive bomb into if I happen to have 10 minutes, I will dive into watch. Sometimes I'll get to breakfast bourbon on a Saturday, dive in, leave some snarky comments, and then you know, I get to the point you're just so full on. So that's why I'm so appreciative that people do take the time to come and hang out with us, because you know, I am just the worst ever. I am shocking. I'm so and when it comes to sort of news and keeping up to date with things, I think I just get to a point where I get so, I just have to go, you know what, I'm going to close that digital door for now. I'm just going to put that digital stuff in another room, and I am going to cook or go, like, in fact, as soon as we're done here, Phil and I are off for a bike ride.
Nice.
Just get some space, eh? And so you do the same. I mean, so for me, when I tend to check Facebook, this is why everybody, if you leave messages or stuff for me in comments on Facebook, I'm hopeless, because I literally tend to only look at it first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Which is why I love when your baby goat pictures, your kid pictures, like Vanessa kid pictures, and Glenn Malloy. I know that we both know Glenn. He's up north and he's in the middle of lambing, and he's got like baby animals going on at his house. It's like, what's happening at Glenn's house? Where are all the baby? Isn't that crazy cat and dog videos? I'm your girl. I'm your girl. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, perfect. I've actually, my neighbour has got, you know, those really cute Valet black nose lambs. She's got some of those.
Dawson's got them too. Oh, so
cute. Maybe I should go for a wander later this afternoon, take some photos and post them up.
Oh yes, please. Yeah.
I'm sure Jackie won't mind.
No, that's you know, it's those are you just, sometimes you have to give yourself a break.
Yep, exactly.
You know? Yeah,
it's actually good. I mean, it's as much as it's. I am lucky. My family is lucky. You know, there's a lot of us around the country that are lucky to be in the position that having 3 days at this stage off is not the end of the world. I mean, for us, income is not a daily thing. it comes in with selling cars. You get your income when you sell a car, so it's not a regular thing anyway. But yeah, we're lucky that here in South Korea we live in this beautiful part of the world where, like we said before, that the world carries on around us, and I'm forever grateful to my husband for suggesting that we move out of Auckland, if I'm honest, because it's our mental health is so much happier down here.
My husband's an Aucklander, and when we first came, because I'm
born and bred.
So well, he bounced around a little bit, but essentially his family is too. And he like yesterday we did the rounds of FaceTime with the Auckland whānau, and it's, the level of fear up there for them is really real. Whereas I'm a provincial girl born and bred. So for me, done time in the city, but I love being able to be in the provinces, and that level of stress just isn't quite there. And we've been here almost 20 years, and initially he found it a little bit tough, like particularly with his work. He found it really weird to go places and see people that he had interacted with in his professional life. Like he was used to not having that. And then now it didn't take him too long. Like he said he couldn't live in Auckland anymore. He just couldn't do it. He doesn't know how his family does it.
No. My family's all still up there.
Yeah, so his. Yeah.
Yeah. I love going to visit, and I love the proximity to the shops and the restaurants and things, but of course we couldn't afford to sustain that all the time, so we save big chunks of money to go and visit, and we go and do all those things, and then we come back home here, and we don't have takeaways here. We don't, if we want an easy dinner, we have eggs on toast, we don't spend money, we don't go out here. We're pretty frugal with our lifestyle.
And there's I think there's a set of social expectations that often happen when you're in larger centres, isn't there? Whereas you don't have that, certainly in provincial areas. And that's one of the things that I really love, and I do, there's one of the things, and I think you're right, one of the things because I travel to Auckland quite frequently to visit friends or family or work. And one of the things that I've definitely noticed is that Auckland now has become quite a collection of villages again.
Yes.
Which to me is not necessarily a bad thing. So when I go up, because my best friend's in Kumeu, I will often be supplanted in Kumeu. And there have been times that I literally have not gotten out of the west. I've stayed west, might have skirted around the top up to the northern, like Whangaparauuri North Shore, which is
proper north,
proper north, to visit family there. And I don't even go anywhere near central Auckland, which is where I lived for so many years. So it's that's the thing. Auckland is so big that you can't. It is central Auckland is quite a different beastie to all these incredible satellite communities around it. So it is. It's just the traffic.
Yes. So my brother and sister are both out with their families out in Clevedon.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful spot.
Similar to this. Southeast,
But so that's definitely a community of its own, for sure. My brother does a lot of work in town, but
and that whole sort of Counties Manukau area, Pukekohe, Waiuku and Karaka and all out that way is, it's literally like rural in town. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely. If I was to move back to Auckland, it would be probably somewhere out that way, or even as far as Pocono. Pocono, for goodness sake. Pocono used to be this little teeny tiny town.
And you drive up State Highway 1 now, and you come around this corner, it's like,
what? Where all these houses come from?
They all come from. Yeah, I know. It's insane.
Crazy.
It's so funny. I've got the Wombat, which is Patty, who I know, who's in Georgia. She's got Google up on her second monitor, Google Maps, to actually look at all these places we're talking about.
Awesome.
It's so funny, Patty. Right, I'm going to wrap this up because I want to go on a bike ride, and I know you've got to go off and take photos of cute little lambs and stuff.
Yes, I do.
Now.
And I'm going to go and check on my pregnant doe, see if she's,
ooh,
because I've got another one due any minute, overdue actually, but
exciting. All right.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for jumping last minute for me. I
You're welcome.
really do appreciate it. It has so been good to catch up. So Vanessa is from Hanging Rock Roost. We popped her link in the chat a little bit earlier on, but it's hangingrockroost.co.nz. So do make sure you go and check out her web shop, and she is loading everything up in time for Can. And with any luck, fingers crossed, once we get to level 3, you'll be able to bundle stuff up and get things out to people, which will be wonderful. And you now have your order of priority for pattern launches.
Yes.
Deemed by
No pressure.
the diaries chat.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I will be back here again tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And I actually see Deb in chat, and I'm going to be talking to her once I get back off the bike ride, because I've got a funny feeling we're hatching a plan with the hangover, well, not the hangover, the breakfast bourbon and the diaries tomorrow. So all will be revealed. Talk to you guys then. Take care. Bye-bye.